Hello, friends. Hope everything is splendid in your neck of the woods. I'm TS, and I'm going to try to clear the chamber of some of these rock news stories that have been piling up in my scripts here lately. But first, I'm going to ask you a trivia question. Do you know what the best-selling rock album of 2024 was? The only hint I'm going to give you is that it is not new. In fact, it is 48 years old. So I'll let you think on that for a little while, and I'll reward you at the end of the video with the answer. In the meantime, like and subscribe and leave a comment and do all of the things. It really helps tickle the algorithm a little bit. I've had a little bit of a drop in engagement recently, and I appreciate all of the engagement to help me build the algorithm a little bit and help me grow this channel. So anyway, first item of news is kind of sad. Brian Setzer, guitarist for the Stray Cats, has come out and said that he can't play guitar anymore because he's got some sort of autoimmune disease. Just a long list of players that haven't necessarily passed away but are losing their ability to play, and Peter Frampton is having a hard time playing anymore, and Brian May just had a stroke. Luckily, he was able to recover enough to, he came out and played with Benson Boone at the Coachella doing Bohemian Rhapsody, so I think he's on the mend, but I wish Brian Setzer all of the best of luck. Other sad news, Tammy Down, lead singer of Faster Pussycat, his girlfriend fell off of the deck of the ship. They were on one of those 80s rock cruises, and apparently they had an argument or something. I hate to speculate, but they eventually came out with surveillance footage, and she actually did jump. So rest in peace, Kimberly Birch, I guess was her name. She looked like a beautiful girl, probably some sort of model or something, and it's just sad to see stuff like that happen. Other band wife news, Scott Schreiner, bass player for Weezer, his wife was shot and arrested after I guess there was a hit and run in their neighborhood, and the assailants were running through the yards and stuff, and she came outside with a gun. And the police told her to drop her gun, and she said, "You drop your gun." And they said she fired first, but I saw the surveillance video and the cops' camera footage, and I couldn't really tell that she had shot first, but they shot her. And she went back in the house and eventually came out, and they arrested her for, I guess, assault on an officer, attempting to, can't be good. I think she's got a $500,000 bond or $1 million bond or something. So we'll see how that turns out. It's kind of a weird story. Another story the last couple of months, you may have seen a TikTok or a short of the weird heavy metal Tales from the Crypt guy with the big bug eyes and his hair's blowing back and the doom music in the background. Well, that is a band called Pentagram, and that is a guy named Bobby, what was his name? It's a hard, weird name. Bobby Lebling. And Pentagram is getting a boost from this social media. It's just the way, I guess, things are done nowadays. They've been around since the early days, like almost as early as Black Sabbath, doing that doom music. they had several chances of getting signed in the 70s and 80s, and that guy just won't. On one hand, you could look at it like he just won't surrender his integrity, and on the other hand, you could just think of it as just stubborn, because I guess they had a showcase with the guys from Kiss sometime in the 70s, and not so much a showcase, I guess they came to their practice, and Kiss wasn't too impressed. They said their drummer was fat, and they're called Pentagram, but there's only 4 of them, and they had a couple of other critiques, but they did want to buy a couple of Bobby's songs from him, and he refused to sell. So that right there, man, that could have been the shot. But they ended up putting out their first real record in 1985, and they've been on and off since then, and just kind of slugging along, you know, as one of the pioneers of that genre, but never getting any real fundamental success out of the deal. I'm kind of on the fence with them, because I'm kind of glad that some pioneers of metal are finally getting their due, but looking into it a little closer, that Bobby Lebling is kind of not a very good person. He's went to jail for spousal abuse, and pushed his 80-year-old mother down the stairs, and on and off drug abuse his whole life, and he's just been in and out of jail, and he's just not a good person, it seems. So take all that with what you will. Sometimes it's just better not to know about the personal lives of the people that you look up to. But let's try to do a little more uplifting news. Maybe not so uplifting, but just more positive. Led Zeppelin. The Led Zeppelin movie came out, and apparently there was a lot of footage that nobody had ever seen before, and pictures. They always seem to do that. They always seem to dig up new stuff that nobody's ever seen before. But to me, it's kind of a moot point, because there's a YouTube guy that I watch called JCM. I think I've mentioned him before. And he's got 100 videos now in just the last year or two, breaking down every Led Zeppelin album and every Led Zeppelin tour. And he has pictures and bootleg videos and demos that I don't know how he came across some of this stuff, but he's just done the most research. He's the guy I've ever seen that knows the most about Led Zeppelin ever. So look up that JCM, and man, there's like 4, 5, 6 hour-long episodes about each Led Zeppelin album. Sometimes he'll even break down individual concerts, because he has all of the bootleg footage, and he talks about, he knows every tour date, and it's just amazing channel. If you like Led Zeppelin, you gotta go see that. But other Led Zeppelin news, apparently there's a rumor that they're gonna tour this year. Well, Jason Bonham was in Sammy Hagar's band, and had to leave for a while to take care of his mother. I guess is ailing in some way, and so they just went ahead and got Kenny Aronoff, and basically he was fired from Sammy Hagar's band, but he's still got his day job as a super group called Black Country Communion with Glenn Hughes and Joe Bonamassa. And a month or two ago, I saw tour dates for the Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin Experience, which is Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin tribute. So I think he might be doing that in the spring, and then in the late summer or fall, they're going to actually have a Led Zeppelin tour. So that's pretty amazing. 2025, we never thought that would ever happen. Robert Plant's tried to do his own thing, and he's been on his own little path for the last 10 years, and it's just amazing. He's kind of grown into his old age, and Jimmy Page has been holed up doing a lot of remixes, and you know, he's involved with a lot of the archiving, a lot of the Zeppelin stuff. So it would be cool if we could see him tour the O2 thing. Jesus, can't believe it's already been 15 years, 18 years. 2008, I think, is when that was. So 17 years since they played together. And it just doesn't seem right. 2008 seems like 2 years ago. Anyway, another band that I like a lot. This news won't mean much to a lot of people, but Zebra with Randy Jackson. Not that Randy Jackson, but another Randy Jackson. They always got kind of lumped in as kind of a Led Zeppelin copy, but it's one of my favorite bands from the 80s. The first two Zebra albums are just mainstays. But apparently they're working on their fifth album with producer Jack Douglas, who did a lot of the Aerosmith stuff and a lot of other stuff. It's their first since Zebra 4 in 2003, so hopefully they still got the goods. I love Zebra. Other news, Linkin Park has been on the tour and pushing their new kind of reinvention with new singer Emily Armstrong, and it's sad to say she's the thing that a lot of people are complaining that they don't like her singing with Linkin Park. But to me, she's the only thing that keeps that band from sounding like a legacy dated tribute to what they were before. Linkin Park is just, especially in this day and age, they were good for their time. But in my mind, they're just done. It's just the sound that was just dated as soon as it came out, and 25 years later, it's not doing any favors to their legacy, and their tour is flopping everywhere. They were supposed to play a big show at Dodger Stadium with Queens of the Stone Age, and it ended up getting knocked down to a smaller venue, and they lost Queens of the Stone Age on that show, and no shows are selling out, and discount tickets are available everywhere, and I kind of think they just probably missed the mark a little bit on that Linkin Park reunion. But on the other hand, Sleep Token, new band, semi-new band, is selling out everywhere they go, like instantly. So a lot of people are saying that the downturn of the touring industry is because of the economy, and a lot of it is because of the monopoly of the Ticketmaster and Live Nation, and that's all true, but the people that people want to go and see, they are still going to see them. And that brings me to the last item that I wanted to talk about, was the top 10 highest grossing tours of 2024. And I don't know if this is just, if they're specifically saying rock tours, because I would think that Taylor Swift's Eras Tour would be on there if it was top grossing. So I think it's just the top 10 grossing rock tours, because there's no Beyonce, there's no Taylor Swift. Anyway, 10 is Blink-182, Depeche Mode. I didn't even know they were on the road in 2024. That's crazy. Dead and Company. It was the last of the touring Dead with John Mayer and all the guys. And right before Phil Lesh died, I think they've kind of tried to take a break from it after Phil Lesh died. He was such a foundational member of that band, and even especially in this later stage eras. Bob Weir's still out there doing stuff, but it's cool that 60 years, 70 years later, Dead Company can still come in on the top 10 highest grossing tours. Next, you got Green Day, which is to be expected. The Eagles, Metallica, of course, U2, the Rolling Stones, Bruce Springsteen, and the highest grossing tour of 2024, and it says the highest grossing tour in history is Coldplay's Music of the Spheres tour. And that's just crazy. I just can't believe, I don't know how they've been able to omit Taylor Swift off of that list, but I don't know, I might look into that a little closer, because that seems odd to me. But Coldplay, I mean, it fits, obviously. Anyway, that's the video. The trivia question, the best-selling, I assume they mean streaming because not a lot of people buy albums anymore, but the best-selling rock album of 2024 is 1977's Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, which charted at number 34, and that's to be expected. The guy drinking his Capri Sun or his cranberry fruit juice on the skateboard brought dreams. That was 3 years ago. But I guess it brought Fleetwood Mac back into the conscience enough that it's the highest charting rock album at number 34. Only 29 albums out of the top 200 were rock acts, and that's sad. Something needs to happen. We need to overhaul the system a little bit. Somehow we need to, I mean, rock bands are doing okay, it seems. Everybody just has their little niche, and there's no monoculture anymore, so you don't see rock bands on any place where it brings them all together. I mean, but there's still bands out there doing stuff. The Sleep Token doing good, and I don't know, 29 out of the top 200 are rock acts, and none of them are from 2024. So there's no new bands that are selling better than any of the hip hop or pop or country is doing. At 93, you have Nirvana's Nevermind. 162 is AC/DC's Back in Black, which has been a mainstay for 45 years now. I can't believe that's still one of the highest streamed albums. 180, speaking of Linkin Park, is Hybrid Theory. 197 is the self-titled Sublime album. So anyway, that's the news. Hope you made it all the way to the end. If you have any suggestions for other videos or other trivia questions or anything you'd like to know, I could probably figure it out, find it out, or I already know it. So, love y'all. Thanks. Bye-bye.